Now to this, everybody. While President Trump says North Korea will be fine with its arsenal of 50-plus nukes, he still says that's a red line when it comes to Iran.
Look, it's very simple. They have to get rid of no nuclear weapons. Iran cannot have a nuclear. You know why? Because they'd use it. And we're not going to let them use it.
And he's threatening a so-called economic D-Day for any country, giving Iran a lifeline from oil smuggling to cash transfers and front companies. The president didn't name any names, but said, you know who you are. So we'll get to more on that in just a little bit. And right now, let's talk about that more with Brigadier General Shawn Harris. General, welcome back. Thank you for your time. Who do you think the president was talking about there when he made that threat about an economic D-Day?
Well, you know, Marky, first of all, good morning. When the president makes those statements so vague, I would hate to try to speculate who he's talking about. But what I will say is this, going back a little bit earlier in your story, North Korea launching these ballistic missiles, this is normal. Anytime we do the exercises with South Korea, North Korea normally does this, shoot them out into the middle of the ocean. All is just get attention and get us to be talking about it. But it is kind of surprising that the president of the United States would step in the middle of it and say, okay, with our exercise, let's scale it down. That in itself makes everything a little bit different.
Yeah, and the president has been rather, I'd say chummy with North Korea this week. Aren't they one of Iran's biggest allies? I mean, why aren't there more, threats toward North Korea over their support for Iran right now instead?
Yeah, you're exactly right, Marky. When you start talking about Iran and looking at who's supporting us, North Korea, China, Russia, these are the axes that are actually helping Iran out in the fight against us. So I'm kind of surprised that the president is not aware of that. I put that 100% on his advisors. They need to go in and give him the cold truth of what's going on in the world so that he understands that just because you have a good relationship or you perceive that you have a good relationship with another leader doesn't mean that that country is going to act in a certain way.
You and I were talking just last hour, General, just about this economic sanctions package that we've been waiting for against Iran. We have sanctioned Iran before. What is the president going to have to do and include in that package for this to actually move the needle on the war?
Well, I tell you, the first thing, when we do the sanctions, we got to make sure that we're doing it specifically to hurt the government, not the people of Iran. But in addition to that, like the president put in a statement, he's also saying to other countries around the world, anybody who actually helps Iran out, the sanctions are going to spread that direction. I believe when you look at this, this is outside of that military process. However, whatever we decide to do, we have to be consistent and we have to follow it through, because right now it seems like we start something on Monday, and by Friday, we change our mind and do something different.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about, this headline caught our eye, General. Several agencies are warning that devices made by Siemens that are used to monitor and operate water facilities and other critical infrastructure systems are susceptible to hacking. Of course, we've been following this and what Iran's potential involvement is. We know the water systems that have been hacked recently haven't led to any problems with drinking water in those communities. So what do you think these hackers are trying to do?
Yeah, I would tell you right now the intelligence is saying, at least on open source, is saying that these hacks that we've had throughout the United States could be coming from Iran hackers testing our system. You're exactly right. When it comes to pretty much they just turned the power off or slowed the water down or did something. But the reality of it is our systems right now, our water systems are actually vulnerable. And my recommendation would be to actually work with the Guard to make sure that those cyber units that we have in the Guard can actually test all our systems and give the local cities information of how can they harden their systems to ensure that Iran or other actors cannot break into them and cause major problems. But as this war with Iran continues to draw out, I'm fully expecting more small level or even large level terrorist attacks will happen. And one of those areas of vulnerability is our water systems.
All right, General Shawn Harris, thank you so much for your time. As always, we'll check back in shortly.